So, what does all this mean to you and your family, and you know the how that translates down to the future of the rest of your life and your family and your family line? Well, not good, but very good. So, typically during a reset, everybody makes out because it's a win-win in the minds of the people that want to put the rest of the people to work into this new world, this new way of life, and this new existence because they need strong new people, right? It's always what's needed. When you look at, I don't care what regime you look at that you don't like because of how it turned out, whether it would be some of the Russian ones or the German ones or the Persian ones or the whatever. But initially, what you see is they go for the youth. They want that strength. They want that young blood, and they use that to build up their new society and to promote it and to get the mechanism running and kick started and to get the money flowing and get everybody up and at it. And this will be no different. The sad part or the bad part is that they tend to use natural disasters to obfuscate what they are doing because they know that their change is so radical and most people would not accept it, um, especially the older people that are too ingrained into the older system. They just won't go for the change. And they go, well, maybe they will. Give them a chance. Trust me, they've done this. I don't know how many times, more times than I can count, these resets. They know what they're doing. And it's not a matter of you accepting it because then you would want also to have your say in it and your take from it. No, it's a matter of they're doing it. You're just going to accept it, and you're going to be the result of whatever it is we put in. So right now, what's being what all is being changed? What's the Green New Deal? Obviously, right? And the Green New Deal. If you look at my last episode, it's called the Green Old Deal because when you look at these reset cities, that's what they're going back to. These reset cities in 1870 were fully electrolyzed, right? You had electric moving sidewalks, you had electric cars, you had, it's kind of like when you go to the airport and they got the electric trams that take you from building to building. I mean, the whole thing was very, very futuristic looking. And they said, this is the future of America. But that future never manifested. Why? Because the oil industry took over. We built roads instead of other ways of transportation. We built different things instead of using the free energy systems that we had. Why? Because the greedy people wanted to collect their money off of it. Um, Everything about these systems was all about having free energy for the people to have and wanted not what they wanted. The people that hijacked this other way of life wanted to make sure they could charge you for it, and that's what they're doing now. They're switching over the internet to 5G and everything else because now they figure out how to charge for all this technology, and that's really what they're. And look at what Facebook and Twitter and all the social media sites are getting ready to do. They are all getting ready to go in a subscription-based program. Again, everything's going to be a pay for play. So that's just a minor part. I don't even know why I threw that in there. But the biggest reset is this new way of life. They want to put us in these super buildings. There will be no transportation except for transportation that is authorized by them with the self-driving cars, right? So there is no ownership. You need to go check out Davos and what they brought up and proposed. What's his name? Russell Brand put out a nice little podcast on it about how they're basically proposing that you will own nothing and be happy about it. And that's the new wave of where they want to push anything. No land ownership, no house ownership, no car ownership, no nothing ownership. You just exist and you will be happy because you exist. And if you play their game right and you keep your social credit scores up, you will be allowed to do more things and other things. If you go against this system and you get a lower social credit score, then you will be prevented from exercising your freedom and your liberties. So, not a free society by any means, and you have no say in any of this. This is the next reset. Now, I don't know how happy you're going to be about it, but they're definitely using this pandemic as a means to hide and obfuscate the rollover from this way of living to the next. And as you can see, Mr. Biden has been putting everything in overdrive to make sure that they execute this quickly and get rid of the old system and any remnants of it. So there is a real war on, there is a real battle, and that battle is ultimately for the control of mankind and how they're going to tax us and how they want us to live. And yes, while there are some humans in key points of position, they are ultimately answering to another subset race, probably most likely I still say they're human, but they're either from the future or they've been augmented, probably both, uh, technological wise, which is why this whole shift into transhumanism. And apparently, this race has been already transformed to the point that they don't have you know uh, sexes, right? No female male thing. That's weird to them, which is why you're seeing this weird push as to the whole pronouns and nouns and all that kind of stuff. Um, because they know that this race is our master race is coming back. They're the ones that first affected our DNA, and who knows what else they can do. The treaty will be up in 2030. All of this is in the countdown to that date. And the powers that be that know. The rest of us are just wondering, going, why is everything happening so chaotically? The Patriots, they're at the worst loss because they go, I've got my Constitution. I got my Constitution. They don't realize that thing is subservient to the Constitution that their own government signed to the United Nations, and that one is subservient to the treaty that was signed with this other race that most likely has been residing in the new reset cities that are located out in Antarctica, which is where our next opening of the new Enlightenment period is going to come from, and supposedly the next false flag alien invasion. In the past, these other entities came to us and they came and presented themselves as gods. Just look at all history. You'll see it back in ancient Egypt and prior to. Every time they showed up, they had, technology more advanced. These were the giants, and you'll see them depicted and all the stuff. Um, and look at Stargate, stuff like that, to put out the disinformation, right? The gods came and make you bow and all this kind of stuff. And they know that's not going to play out anymore. When they changed our DNA, they made us, right, in their own image. That's in the Bible. So you got to take what has been put out there for disinformation, tie it all in, because it all connects to the same one picture. These are the people. And now that we became sentient enough, they know that they can't pass themselves off as gods, because we also have become godlike in the sense that we have mastered those technologies as well. And so now they're going to pass themselves as a more advanced technological alien race and come with a false flag alien event. And that'll be happening soon. And when they do that, that's probably when they'll open up Antarctica and make it out like, oh, of course it's always been here. Oh, it was just under ice. What do you mean you didn't know? The same way they did with these lost cities that were in America. And think about it. Think of all the fake stories that are out there about, the the travelers that would go and meet the native Indian, and they'd take them to this city of gold hidden in a jungle in the Americas, right? That's not make believe. Those cities were real, and they were there. And of course, what you call natives, which is just people that happen to be longer than anyone else. If let me tell you a story. If you think someone is native to a continent, then what are you telling me? That they spontaneously combusted with the earth when the earth like spontaneously combusted out of thin air, so therefore they grew like a weed or like a grass or like a tree specifically to that continent? Then no. Then they migrated there like everyone else. They just happened to migrate there at a different time. That's the only thing that makes us different, you know, as a species in our world, that you call different races. I don't call it that. I just say we've been separated by time and space. And so therefore our language changed, our appearance changed based on the sun rays and the radiation we're absorbing, the amount of sun rays and radiation we're absorbing, which is why they're initiating this false flag or this reset now, right? The solar minimum, solar maximum. And if you're not familiar with that, it happens to run simultaneous with every single pandemic the world has had on any historic level whatsoever. My time has come to an end. I didn't know it went by that quick again. So very exciting times. You need to check into and continue so we can continue this and take it even further and deeper. But in the meantime, make sure you pick up a copy of Octo, the Unwritten book, as everything I'm talking about and will be talking about and was talking about and might be talking about is in that book. It's turned into fiction, so you have to decode it for yourself, and that way they can't censor it. Octo, the Unwritten book. Pick you up a copy now. Go now, because this podcast is over. All right, guys, I'll see you. It doesn't have to be tomorrow. I mean, all of these things are up there. You can go back and listen to them anytime you want. But if you'd like, you can come back later today and listen to some more. But if not, well, tomorrow it is. Later, Gator.